Welcome to Philosophy in Pajamas podcasts.
Hello.
And today, we are getting into a topic that, on the surface, feels really soft, maybe even simple.
Right.
But the more you look at it, the more you see it's one of the most, profound displays of strength possible. We're talking about kindness.
Kindness. Yeah, it sounds almost like a cliche, doesn't it?
Totally.
Everyone thinks they get it, but we're going to try and move past the greeting card version of it.
Okay.
We're going to explore what we're calling the architecture of gentleness, based on some really eye-opening work by Rushik.
And when you start looking at it through that lens, you realize pretty quickly that kindness isn't just a feeling,
Sure.
It's not something you have when you've had a good night's sleep.
No, not at all. It's a choice.
A foundational one. And it's hard work.
It is. So our mission for you, listening, is to walk away understanding that quiet, consistent kindness serves two really big roles. It's a powerful tool for your relationships, for the world around you, but maybe more surprisingly, it's a critical and sometimes brutal form of self-discipline.
So we're looking for those little nuggets that show it's not the soft option.
Exactly. It's a deliberate choice. It requires immense strength.
Okay, let's unpack this right away because the core definition you mentioned, that changes everything.
It does.
Rushik says kindness is not a strategy, it is a temperament.
And that one word, temperament, it just flips the whole conversation.
How so?
Well, if it's a strategy, you're only using it to get something back. It's transactional.
A return on investment.
Precisely. It can even be manipulative, right? You're trying to achieve a goal, a better reputation, a favor, whatever.
But if it's a temperament,
Yeah.
that's not something you just turn on and off.
No, it's how you move through the world.
Right.
And if it's your temperament, you don't need to announce it. You don't need applause or proof. It's just there.
I love the way he describes it, that it moves quietly, like breath through ordinary moments. Like breath. Wow. So you could change the weight of a day for a complete stranger just by your consistent behavior.
Without asking for anything.
Without saying, hey, look how kind I am. It's ambient improvement.
And that's where the strength comes in. The heavy lifting for kindness doesn't happen in some big dramatic rescue.
No.
No. It happens inside of restraint. That's the surprising place where the strength is actually generated.
Explain that a bit more. Why is restraint the engine room for kindness?
Because your ego demands speed. When we feel challenged, our fastest, easiest, most default response is what? Sharpness? Defensiveness? Lashing out?
That takes zero courage.
Zero. It's easy. It's an instinct.
Yeah, that's so true. It takes no mental energy to fire back a sarcastic comment or just meet aggression with more aggression.
But choosing to stay gentle, to hold that space when an argument is getting heated, that feels like a monumental effort inside.
It is. It's real work.
It is. It's having the courage to remain gentle in rooms that actively reward sharpness.
Oh, absolutely. Think about competitive workplaces or even some social circles. The person with the quickest, most cutting remark often seems, dominant.
For a moment. But that dominance is so fleeting. Anyone can dominate a moment by just raising their voice or using a cheap shot.
That's low-hanging fruit.
Exactly. But kindness is what disarms the moment.
No.
And that feels like a much more powerful, much more lasting kind of victory.
A lasting victory. I like that.
It's the ultimate power move because it actually changes the direction of the whole interaction. It lowers the temperature.
It pulls the oxygen out of the fire.
Yes. And maybe more importantly, it removes the armor from the conversation.
The armor.
Yeah. When you're kind, you create psychological safety. You allow the other person to just arrive as they are. They don't have to put on their protective gear and start rehearsing survival.
Rehearsing survival. Wow, that is such a powerful idea.
It is.
Can you just give us a quick example of that? What does that look like day to day?
Sure. Think about a junior team member. They're presenting a new idea. They are bracing for criticism. They're waiting to be mocked or for a senior person to steal their idea. They are rehearsing survival.
They're expecting a fight.
Yes. Kindness in that room is as simple as listening. Just actively listening, giving their idea space to breathe, and offering respectful feedback, not judgment.
You're basically signaling, I am not a threat here.
Exactly. You can put the script down.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, so if restraint is the foundation, how does that invisible internal work, how does it show up in our actual behavior?
Well, the practical ways it shows up are deceptively simple, but they demand a lot of self-monitoring.
Like what?
For example, the writing from Rushik focuses on listening without planning your reply.
Oof. That is extraordinarily hard.
It's so hard. Most of us are just waiting for the other person to take a breath so we can jump in with our amazing counterpoint.
We're not actually listening, we're reloading.
We're reloading, exactly. Yeah. And another one is respect offered to someone who can't possibly return it.
A service worker or a stranger on the bus?
Yes. And then help that is extended without the mathematics of benefit.
Mathematics of benefit. That's a fantastic phrase.
Isn't it?
It means you're not keeping score. You're not tracking who owes you what.
Right. If you're calculating the ROI on your generosity, that's not kindness anymore. That's just social credit scoring.
Ah.
When you help someone without needing the math to balance out, you are forced to be entirely present in that moment.
But I have to ask the question that I'm sure listeners are thinking right now.
Go for it.
Doesn't that just set you up to be exploited? I mean, doesn't it risk burnout if you're always giving and not expecting anything back? It sounds, well, a little naive.
And that leads directly to the next point, which is that this perspective is not naive at all.
Okay.
It's noted that true kindness sees everything. It sees the damage, the potential for manipulation, the flaws.
It sees all of it.
And still chooses care.
Ah, so it's not a blind choice, it's a fully informed one.
Exactly. If you're naive, you're just easily fooled. But if you choose care, despite seeing all the potential pitfalls, that is an act of profound will. That's why it is strength trained daily.
You're choosing the harder path, even when you know the easier, sharper one is right there.
And this is where it gets really transformative, because this is how kindness disciplines the giver.
We usually think of it as something we do for others.
We do, but it operates internally too. It teaches you patience. And more than that, it sharpens your awareness.
How so?
Well, when you shift your focus from making yourself important in a room, getting your point across, being the smartest, to just being attentive,
You change.
your whole character changes. You stop worrying about what you look like, and you start actually noticing what other people need.
You start to see who needs space or who's confused and needs a little reassurance.
Or who just needs time to process. That shift from, self-centered performance to just attentive observation, that's relational intelligence.
Okay, let's talk about the big misunderstanding then. The doormat issue. Kindness doesn't mean you have to agree with everything or tolerate harm. So how do I set a firm boundary? But kindly.
It requires clarity, delivered without cruelty.
Clarity without cruelty.
Kindness demands you protect your own space. You can be absolutely clear about your boundaries without humiliating the person who crossed them.
So choosing your words carefully. Maybe having the conversation in private instead of calling them out in public.
Yes. Or simply stating the fact of the boundary without attaching a lot of emotional judgment to it. You can choose, as it's put, clean exits over dramatic damage.
You don't have to burn the bridge on your way out.
You can just walk away with dignity. It takes restraint, but it preserves your own integrity.
This all comes back to being deliberate, doesn't it? In a world that Rushik says is addicted to reaction.
Absolutely. We're wired for that instant feedback, that adrenaline rush of an explosion. Kindness is choosing to pause.
To respond instead of react.
To choose dignity over the quick hit of dominance.
And that choice, which feels so small in the moment, just a pause, just one gentle word that compounds quietly.
It does. This quiet accumulation is where the real change happens.
And what does that look like on the outside? What are the tangible results?
You see it in the environments people create. Homes feel steadier. Workspaces feel safer because people trust they won't get ridiculed.
And relationships stop feeling like battlefields.
Exactly. They stop being places where you're constantly defending yourself, and they start feeling like places of rest.
That has to be the goal, right?
Yeah.
To be the person where others feel like they can finally exhale.
And that feeling travels. Kindness travels faster than influence, faster than your job title or your bank account. It's a universal language.
A smile, a pause.
A seat offered on the train. These things speak fluently everywhere. They cross language barriers. They survive misunderstandings.
They don't require a shared belief system.
No, they just remind people of their own worth simply because they're alive without you having to announce how moral you are. It just exists.
Which brings us to the legacy you leave behind. This is where it gets really profound. People might forget how smart you were or what you achieved, but they remember deeply how safe they felt around you.
That psychological comfort is everything. They remember the person who didn't rush them when they were struggling to find a word.
Who didn't mock their confusion.
Who didn't turn a moment of their vulnerability into entertainment for the room.
It leaves fingerprints on lives.
It really does.
So before we finish, let's touch on that final benefit. Self-protection. This isn't just about others.
No, it's the ultimate defense mechanism for you. It truly
That's how
is.
so.
If you are constantly reacting with bitterness and sharpness, you're poisoning your own system. Kindness protects you from becoming the very hardness that might have wounded you in the first place.
It's a way of keeping bitterness from renting space in your nervous system.
Yes, it keeps your inner world breathable. When you practice it sincerely, it becomes self-respect in motion.
You're choosing dignity for yourself by refusing to sink to that reactive level.
You're maintaining your own inner harmony.
And to bring this all back around, kindness is not dramatic. It isn't rescuing the world in one grand gesture.
No, it repairs small fractures repeatedly. It chooses consistency over spectacle.
And that's how trust is built. Slowly. Reliably.
The steady hand, not the sudden flash of light.
So if there's one ultimate challenge from this, one legacy to aim for, it's this. Be the person whose presence just lowers fear.
Yeah.
Treat ordinary people as extraordinary simply because they're here, sharing this moment with you.
It doesn't need a grand plan.
No, it just needs you to show up fully in the smallest moments.
That's a perfect summation. The main insight here is so clear. Kindness isn't weakness. It's strength. It's strength from restraint, maintained by discipline, and defined by consistency.
It's an architecture of character.
It really is.
Well, we hope these ideas give you a new lens to look for those daily opportunities to exercise that quiet, formidable strength. Thank you so much for joining us.
And if you enjoyed this conversation, please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And to continue exploring these profound concepts, you can follow Rushik on medium.com/Rushik Aral.